All right, learners, welcome back for another deep dive with yours truly.
Absolutely.
So today,
Excited to be here.
yeah, this is going to be a fun one, I think. Um, we're going to be talking about something that, on the surface maybe doesn't sound super exciting. We're going to be talking about auctions.
Auctions, yeah.
But, stick with us here. This is actually a lot more interesting than it might sound at first.
Yeah.
And we've got a really cool sponsor for this episode, too. So yeah, we're going to be talking about auctions and specifically
Online auctions.
online auctions. There you go. Yes.
Ah.
And what's really cool about this is actually really interesting way to save money and to be more sustainable
Absolutely.
at the same time.
Yeah, I think a lot of people don't think about buying used as being a form of sustainability, but
Right.
it absolutely is.
Yeah, for sure. And so, we were doing a little research into this and found a really cool company called Auctions International that we're actually partnering with for this episode. And they're a sponsor of today's show.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can check them out at auctionsinternational.com. And what's really neat about them is they have just a massive variety of stuff that you can buy on their platform.
Yeah, pretty much anything you could want.
Yeah, it's crazy. So I was looking through it, everything from, cars and trucks to heavy equipment to like antiques and real estate.
Real estate,
It's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, it's a really cool company, and it really, challenges that kind of stereotype that auctions are just for,
Right.
businesses or, kind of these high-end collectors or whatever.
Sure.
It's really not.
yeah, for sure. And so let's talk a little bit about the financial side of things here.
Mhm.
Obviously when we think about auctions, we think about, saving money. But I was really surprised to learn just how much money you can actually save by going through an auction.
Oh, yeah.
So
You can save a lot of money. And it all comes down to really cutting out the middleman. When you go through a traditional dealership or retailer, there's a lot of markup involved there.
right.
And so, you're paying that markup as the consumer.
Yeah.
Whereas with an auction, you're going directly to the seller.
Right.
And so you're able to get a much better price because you're not paying,
Right.
all of those extra fees and markups and stuff.
So it's like going straight to the source.
Yeah, exactly.
And what's really cool about this is this applies to both, individual buyers and to businesses as well.
Absolutely.
So like, if you're a small business owner and you're looking to buy, a fleet of trucks or some equipment or something like that.
Yeah, if you're a procurement agent.
Yeah.
And you're looking for, maybe heavy equipment or vehicles or something like that, it's a great way to get a deal.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah, I mean, I think that's one of the things that I was really impressed by with Auctions International is that they really cater to both, individuals and businesses.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's really cool. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the sustainability aspect here. I have to admit, I was a little bit skeptical at first when I heard that buying used through an auction could be a more sustainable option. But
It really is.
yeah,
It's all about, the idea of a circular economy,
right.
So instead of, a product being used once and then going into a landfill,
Right.
it's used multiple times,
Yeah.
And that's what we want.
Yeah. So, every time we buy something used, we're essentially extending the lifespan of that product,
Right.
which means that, we're not having to produce as much new stuff.
Exactly.
And, I think a good example of this is cars.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, producing a new car takes a huge amount of energy.
A ton of energy, raw materials.
Water.
Yeah.
And so if we can keep those existing cars on the road longer,
Right.
through platforms like Auctions International, then that's a huge win for the environment.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
Okay, so, another thing that we wanted to talk about today is tariffs.
Yeah.
And this is something that's been in the news a lot lately. And we've seen a lot of tariffs being imposed by the current administration, on imported goods. And that includes, vehicles and heavy equipment and things like tractors.
Yeah.
And so, you might be thinking, well, what if I need a brand new piece of equipment?
Right.
How do tariffs affect me?
Right.
And that's a great question. And the answer is that even if you're buying new, those tariffs have a ripple effect.
They do.
throughout the entire supply chain.
Absolutely.
So that-
Because the cost of imported components and raw materials goes up.
Right.
And that makes even U.S.-made vehicles and equipment more expensive.
Right.
It's like if you're baking a cake and you're using, local flour, but the price of imported sugar skyrockets,
Right.
your whole cake becomes more expensive.
Right. Yeah, that's a great analogy.
Yeah.
So basically these tariffs affect everyone, regardless of whether you're buying new or used. So how do auctions fit into this equation?
Well, auctions, like Auctions International, primarily focus on domestic sales.
Okay.
So that means you can potentially find the equipment or vehicles you need without being hit with those, tariffs,
Okay.
which can be, really substantial.
Right. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
And another thing that I really like about Auctions International is that they're really transparent.
Yeah.
So as a buyer, you can see detailed condition reports and photos, and you can even arrange for inspections before you place a bid,
Absolutely.
which is really nice. And they also have a special promo code for our listeners.
Yeah.
So if you're new to Auctions International, you can use the code NEWB by D25 when you register on their website,
Awesome.
and you get a special discount.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So yeah, I think, overall, this is a really interesting topic.
It is.
And I think it's something that, more people should be aware of. Buying used through an auction can be a really great way to save money and to be more sustainable.
Yeah.
And Auctions International is a really great platform to do that. So I guess one final thought-provoking question for our listeners.
Yeah.
If more individuals and businesses embrace this auction model, could this be a bigger part of the solution
Interesting.
to our sustainability challenges?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not just about saving money, but, really making a difference for the planet. So something to think about as you explore the world of auctions. All right, learners, until next time,
See ya.
happy learning.
Happy learning. Bye.